Morning, Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Hema Ramkissoon, and welcome to the CNC3 Early Morning Show. It is a beautiful Friday morning. It is Friday, July 27th, 2012. Yes, July 27th, a day that will forever be etched in the minds of all in our country, especially those that were around for the 1990 attempted coup. Today was that fateful day. No. So many years have passed since then. Where were you and what have we learned as a nation? The inquiry continues into what exactly transpired. This morning, we're going to be dealing with a number of other issues. We're going to try to link up with the Minister of Sport, Anil Roberts, who's out there in London. We'll also be speaking to Brian Lewis, the head of the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee. Also, some officials from Digicel. Digicel Kickstart Clinic is starting up again. So we're going to find out a little bit about what we can expect this year. They've actually made connections with Chelsea FC, yes, the English-based Premier League club. So we're going to find out who's coming from Chelsea. Can you see some of the big stars coming to Trinidad and Tobago and the Caribbean as a result of this? Or even the expertise. No, we all want to be affiliated with the big names in football. Also, Jamal Shabazz will be joining us. The CFU Championships, well, they're coming around, so we'll find out a little bit about that. So a lot of things are happening this morning, but it's Friday. We always mix things up. If you had a week like mine, well, thank God it's Friday. Don't forget, you can follow me on Twitter at Hema_Ramkissoon. I look forward to tweeting with you. So much has happened in our country over the last week, and I'm sure, you know, we all just continue to look in sometimes shock or dismay, disgust. But no matter what's happening around you, that we have a role to play in shaping our country. It's not as bad as it seems. But, you know, before we begin our first interview, and also we'll be speaking to some officials who are hosting an emancipation rally. So we're going to find out a little bit about that. Yesterday, we spoke to the head of the Emancipation Support Committee and also Dr. Lincoln Douglas, talking a little bit about what we can expect. So we see that he continued those announcements on the post-cabinet news briefing yesterday. But before we begin our first interview, which will be with some officials who are hosting an emancipation rally, they are attached to one of the major churches in Trinidad and Tobago. Let's tell you why you should buy the Trinidad and Tobago Guardian today. Major story on the front page of the Guardian newspaper. Good luck comes to Trinidad and Tobago Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan. A picture there. Things to come. Fireworks explodes over the Olympic Stadium during a rehearsal for the opening ceremony at the 2012 Summer Olympics in London. The city will host the 2012 London Olympics with opening ceremonies for the games scheduled for today. So today is the big day. All of our men and women are out there. They're representing the red, white and black. Defiant Pandey sticks to his statement. Lee Sing blames HDC for homeless and burns to carry Trinidad and Tobago flag. Nigerian President for Emancipation visit. It's a story by Gail Alexander. Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan and a 70-member delegation will be the government's specially invited guests for next week's emancipation celebrations. At yesterday's post-cabinet media briefing, acting Foreign Affairs Minister Dr. Suraj Ramachan announced the visit of the Nigerian team, and their visit will start from the 31st of July and end on August 2nd. The president of Nigeria will also be accompanied by his wife and 69 other officials attached to his country. Cricketers robbed of cash and valuables. That's according also on the front page. And the big story, all of the sport fans throughout the world, you're all waiting. It comes around every 4 years. Let the games begin. Burns to carry the TT flag. Well, congratulations to young Mark Burns there. The plain talk goes to Serena Williams, Olympian tennis player, always on the fashion scene. If you, I think, are a tennis fan, you know that though Serena especially has always pushed the envelope a little bit as it relates to combining fashion and athletic wear. I think she actually has a line with Nike. We stay away from a lot of shopping here. We get it done where the American dollar has a little more impact. So a little bit of economic advice there from Serena Williams. If the multi-million-dollar star, who is a superstar in her own right in the world of tennis, can say that, you know, she's a little cautious as to where she spends her dollars, and she's looking at what's out there in London, well, I think we should be a little more cautious as well as to what we spend our dollars on. And also the applause goes to Sunil Narine. The West Indies spinner took 5 for 132 in the New Zealand innings. That is in the test match, so congratulations there to Sunil Narain. Before we take our first break and begin our first interview this morning, and don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at Hema_Ramkisoon. You can also look me up on Facebook if you have any suggestions, any comments, any recommendations. Feel free to send us a line or two. But let's give you something to think about while you have your morning cup of coffee with us. What you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others. I'm going to read that again. What you leave behind is not what is engraved in stone monuments, but what is woven into the lives of others. It's not really what the physical things that you leave in your memory. It's really how you impact and how you touch people, how people shape your life and how you attempt to shape those. That's why you must always be a little cautious as to who you allow in your life, what they do and what they do not do. Life is too precious, so always make the best and the most out of all of the time that you have on this earth. Don't forget you can follow me on Twitter at Hema_Ramkisoon. I'll see you on the other side of this break.
It's extraordinary what you can see when you take a second look. Extraordinary is all around us. In the feelings we share, in the connections we make. Captured moment. Share the extraordinary with Digicel.
Still trying to decide between going shopping or going to the beach? Why not both? Shop online and ship with Aeropost. Shop online from anywhere you want and get to enjoy a sunny day at the beach and amazing mid-year sales from the best USA stores. Sign up today and start shipping your purchases to your Miami Aeropost address and receive your goodies easily, safely, and hassle-free. Visit one of our counters or online at www.aeropost.com/POS. Aeropost. Online shopping made easy. Reconnect with your African ancient history by visiting African Trophies. Take advantage of our Emancipation Sale to enrich your surroundings with African arts, craft, clothing, and music at 40% discount. African Trophies, 39 Tragreach Road, Port of Spain.
We are touched by your smiles and your friendships, by your appreciation of the past and your ability to see the future. We're motivated by your drive and your willingness to try new things. We are fascinated that even though you are so very different, you still see yourself as so very much the same. We are energized by how hard you work and your ability to have a good time, by your pride and your passion. We are moved by your every new beginning and wonderful end. Every day we're inspired by your likes and your lives, and we'll continue to challenge ourselves to remain a big part of them both. Bermudez, biscuits we love.
Put speed and efficiency to work by using Skyjack platform lifts on your next project. Skyjack makes your work safer and easier with working heights up to 30 feet. Skyjack puts you within reach. Call Santi-Quip at 679-6000 for more details. Warranty, reliability, maintenance-free. Come to D. Rampersad & Company for Mack batteries, the cheapest in the market. D. Rampersad & Company Limited is the largest in automotive engineering machine shop and spare part supplies. We also provide resleeving, reboring, crankshaft grinding, and complete cylinder head services for Japanese auto parts like Mazda, Mitsubishi, 4D56, and more. So come in or call us today.
Guardian Media Limited. Empowering and connecting with more consumers than any other media. We engage you with over 850,000 people every day.
Guardian Newspaper.
CNC3 Television.
TBC Radio Network.
Inspirational Radio 7:30 a.m.
951 The Best Mix.
Slam 100.5 FM. Vibe CT 105 FM, the nation station.
The Superstation Sangeet 106.1 FM.
Akashvani 106.5 FM.
Like us, follow us on Facebook, Twitter, and www.guardian.co.tt.
For a SmackDown? Watch CNC3 this Friday for WWE Friday Night SmackDown. 8 p.m. only on CNC3 Television.
The Business Guardian is now bigger and better than ever. We give you more analysis, more insight, and more value in every issue. Find out why the Business Guardian is the most valuable 40 pages you'll ever read. Every Thursday, free inside your Trinidad Guardian.
Taking care of business. Woo! Taking care of business.
Is there a problem, officer?
Mr. Peter Kelly, I'm appointing you police for a day in the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service. Welcome.
Join Peter Kelly in Police for the Day. Mondays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays only on CNC3 Television.
The Dr. Oz Show is a multi-topic, multi-segment health and wellness talk show featuring Dr. Mehmet Oz, offering empowering perspectives and cutting-edge information on important, wide-ranging topics.
How do you know when your pain is a sign of something more serious? It could be a sign when you have jaw pain that you're about to have or are having a heart attack.
Don't miss the Dr. Oz Show, weekdays at 6:03 p.m. on CNC3 Television.
Oh my God, this guy brought his kids, Mitchell.
Oh my God, to this movie? Isn't it supposed to be super violent?
I don't know that this movie's really appropriate for children. Hey, buddy, they're my kids. I got it. Yeah, but I don't think you do.
Cam.
I'm scared.
Yeah, well, you're gonna be. I'm gonna tell you one more time. No, I'm gonna tell you one more time. Okay.
It was the Muppet movie. We were in the wrong theater.
Go crazy with Modern Family, Wednesdays at 8 p.m. exclusively on CNC3.
Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Hema Ramkissoon. Thanks so much for staying with us. Well, today is a big day. It's really the opening of the Olympics, but also next week the country will be commemorating or celebrating Emancipation Day. Yesterday we see the government making several major announcements, really celebration that's expected to take place in our country, the national celebration, recognizing the contributions that the people of African descent have made in shaping our country. This morning joining us on set, Reverend Trevor Joseph and also Ifeanyi Odidi. Did I get it right?
Yeah.
Oh, good. Good morning, gentlemen.
Thanks.
How are you?
Beautiful.
Now, and this is continuing from or looking at what's happening at Emancipation and taking place to celebrate Emancipation. This is also the year of the Jubilee.
Correct.
So tell us a little bit about what's happening, Robin.
Well, first of all, I'm not a reverend, I'm a businessman. But I am also the president of the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship in Trinidad and a member of the Evangelical Council of Trinidad and Tobago, Council of Churches. And the Council of Churches, in collaboration with the Trinidad and Tobago Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship, embarked on this year of Jubilee. And we planned a series of events beginning from January. And this, where we are on, is Emancipation. The last one we were here with you was for the celebration of Indian arrival, when we had a team from India, and you interviewed us for that one.
Great.
We had a Bollywood singer and a university professor here. This time we are having people from Africa. So it's a special, if you look at the theme, we embarked on a theme, Overflow with Thankfulness. It was the purpose of the Council of Churches to engage the nation in being positive about where we are as a nation, and that we should be, in every aspect of our life, being grateful to be Trinidadians. We have so much to be thankful for, and yet we are bombarded with negativity at every turn. And we identified several reasons we should be thankful, and we engaged the nation. Unfortunately, we didn't get the kind of coverage we should have had, and that's what I told you the last day.
Right.
Because when we have our rallies, we have thousands of people coming out, but yet we don't get the coverage. And it was a sort of a tragedy in a sense, because we need to change the psyche of the people of this nation into looking at the positives in this nation. We have so much to be thankful for. We've never had any natural or man-made disasters in the last 50 years. We've never had any violence because of two major ethnicities in the country. That's, if it's not managed properly, a recipe for disaster. There we see the church playing a major role, because it's in the church that the people join together in various ethnicities and sing, we are one in the Spirit, we are one in the Lord, we are members of the household of God, we are brothers and sisters. So that that faith factor binds us together in a very strong way. And so that cements the society in this country. That is why we have a peaceful nation. And the church needs to be recognized for the role they're playing in that regard. And so we have to be thankful. I mean, I can go on for the next 2 hours telling you about all the reasons we should be thankful. We've had the full gamut of possibilities of governments in this country, including the various ethnicities from Tobago, Trinidad, Port of Spain, San Fernando, East Indian, mixed African, coalition parties, in different things. And we have had peaceful transitions. We have to be thankful for that. Thankful for democracy, our freedoms. There's so much to be thankful for. And yet we see so much negativity, so that the church, the ABCs of the church is that you must be people of gratitude.
People of gratitude. Now, Mr. Dido, let's talk a little bit about the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship International Nigeria.
Yes.
We're also seeing that the Nigerian president is coming to Trinidad and Tobago.
Sure.
That must be a welcome sign for you as well.
Honestly.
What's your role in all of this?
As the national president of the Full Gospel in Nigeria, we have about 3,400 chapters of the fellowship in Nigeria. And that's a very strong force to reckon with. Besides that, 2 years ago, we experienced the same jubilee that T&T is experiencing today. And the Full Gospel in Nigeria played a very strategic role, in the sense that we had to pull the various denominations together and acknowledge the fact that God has done us well, that God has showered us with so much blessings. We have fixed diverse kinds of challenges in Nigeria. We have insurrections and all manner of ethnic challenges, but the truth is that God has kept us together as one nation. And a very long time ago, we had a civil war in Nigeria, but then that did not disintegrate the country, and that kept the country together. And today, we just believe that if God could have brought us this far, there are enormity of potentials in our nation. There are enormity of potentials in Trinidad and Tobago that I know that if we acknowledge and appreciate God for what He has done thus far, He is going to command the earth to vomit all these. There are so much resources. Yes, We have tapped into the oil and gas, we have tapped into bitumen and a few other resources, but I want to bet you that there are much more embedded in the heart of the soil of Trinidad and Tobago that only God can open our eyes in revelation to see. And the moment that happens, I assure you that Trinidad and Tobago will be much better for it. The beauty about our celebration in Nigeria is that it brought a lot of emancipation, just the kind of vision that we have today. And the youth are empowered, the people are celebrating because suddenly they discovered that a platform has been created for social integration, for ethnic integration, and people are coming together to lift up their hands and acknowledge God in praise, to thank Him for all that He has done for us as a nation.
Now, looking at the events that are taking place in celebration of our 50th anniversary Jubilee of Independence, the rally, a number of specially invited guests are coming. Let's talk a little bit about who's coming down.
Well, Reverend Mosey Madugba, he is the featured speaker. It will be better for our guests to speak about him because he's coming from Nigeria.
Okay.
Yeah, Reverend Mosey Madugba is an acknowledged international speaker. He is someone who God has gifted in the area of releasing men from the chains of captivity. And if we appreciate Jubilee, Jubilee talks a little more about debt cancellation, about releasing people from all manner of bondages, all manner of fetters, all manner of chains, all manner of captivities, all manner of slaveries and bondages. And this is a man that God has raised up in our time, who today is the Executive Director of African Leadership Institute in the continent of Africa, and currently the international head coordination of the ministries of prayer network in over 70 countries of the world. So he is an itinerant minister who has traveled far and wide across the nations of the world. And I believe that it's very apt that when he comes, citizens of Trinidad and Tobago should troop out en masse and receive a voice, a prophetic voice from this anointed servant of God. We have come 50 years now celebrating, but we have the next phase of 50 years. What is God telling Trinidad and Tobago? This is a prophetic voice that will begin to tell us the direction that God will want Trinidad and Tobago to move so that it will become one of the forces to reckon with across the nations of the world.
Currently, the international head coordinator of Ministries Prayer Network of over 70 countries. He's the founder and international director of the Spiritual Life Outreach Incorporated Ministries in Europe and Africa. He's the executive director of Africa Leadership. He is a pastor with over 2,000 ministries. Looking at all of the problems that we are facing now as a country, what do you see as the role and what do you see as the importance of having events such as this and kind of integrating religion into these celebrations?
Well, it's not integrating religion into the celebrations. The church has to lead the celebrations. The church is supposed to be the light in the communities. If you look at our history, or if you go any part of the world, you'll see where societies gather together as a nation. In the center of everything was the churches. If you look in downtown Port of Spain, you'll see where the churches are located. The life was centered around churches. And the church, over a period of time, somehow has lost that kind of influence. But it was never meant for that to be, because the church is the moral compass of a nation. And like, for instance, the Full Gospel Businessmen's Fellowship, our members are business and professional people, and we set high standards that we must, in the marketplace, wherever we are, we should not be involved in anything that is underhand. We never seek political power or any favors. We try to influence very quietly the high moral standards that the Bible demands that we conduct our affairs in. So the church is not a publicity seeker, but the church does its work very quietly and very efficiently in what we do. So it's not a matter of jumping in the fray. We are the center of everything, and that's a reality. So the church, if we look at emancipation, and our brother could speak about it even better than I can, the Christians played a very important role in the emancipation of slavery. And he can get onto that aspect of it very easily.
Let's talk a little bit about that.
The church is God's ambassador, representing the government of heaven here on earth. And God is so caring, so loving, so full of tender mercies, and is seeking expression to really showcase his glory wherever men are found. And unfortunately, a kind of a disintegration and some kind of rancor and bitterness and separation have been identified as some causes that puts the church apart. But the truth is, at a cause of jubilee such as this, if the church could come together and lift up their holy hands unto heaven, I assure you that heaven shall open up on this land. I assure you that some of the things that we are passing through today as challenges could easily be taken care of. I assure you that men will begin to receive uprightness of heart. One of the reasons is because righteousness exalts a nation. Full gospel believes in integrity. We believe in very high moral standards. We believe in family integration. Today you see this integration of families. So many, the parents are not together, the kids are wayward, getting into drugs, into smoking, and all manner of vices. But I assure you that if the church will rise up to its responsibility, and of course we are, we set the tone and direction of light for the nation. And I could see it happening in Trinidad and Tobago. As a matter of truth, the church is the custodian of the moral integrity of a nation. If you take away the church, you discover that darkness will invade the nation. But thank God that a ministry like Full Gospel, these are not ordained ministers of the gospel, but these are Christians in the marketplace. You find them in various spheres of influence. You find them in the public sector, you find them in government, you find them in business, you find them in the hospitals, and so on. And wherever we are, we radiate the light because we shun corruption, we shun compromises, we shun all manner of vices that are plaguing and destroying the fabric that holds the nation together. And so this is what we are trusting God that if men will arise, if the citizens of the nation will arise and give heed to the voice of the church, the captivity of any nation could be turned around. And you will see this nation emancipating in strength, in glory, especially economically, technologically, and the rest of it. So I believe that something great is happening to Trinidad and Tobago, even through this Jubilee celebration.
We do have to take a very, very short break. When we come back, we will continue this discussion for a little bit and talk a little more about what we can expect for the celebration. Stay with us.
To be equal, to live in a society that responds to you without prejudice, to be treated fairly no matter what your background may be, regardless of race or religion, regardless of geographic location, gender, or any disability you may have. It's not just an idea we should live by, but an ideal that our children can look up to, that our communities can aspire to, that our employers must embrace. But it's more than that. It is the right of every citizen of Trinidad and Tobago. It is a right that is championed and upheld by the Equal Opportunity Commission. The EOC is about educating, breaking down barriers, and eliminating obstacles to truly empower people on the basis of their merit. This is the mission of the Equal Opportunity Commission of Trinidad and Tobago. Equality is everyone's dream. It's everyone's right.
Come to Tressalon, a full-service hair salon that offers the latest in dimensional colors, cuts, keratin, straightening, relaxing, hair and scalp treatment for men and women, upstyles for weddings and graduation. We also do manicures, pedicures, and polish. We recommend, use, and retail the best professional products such as Rusk, Moroccan Oil, Matrix, Wild Ginger, OPI Nail Polish, Paul Mitchell's latest Awapui, and his new men's line, Mitch the Man. Call Tressalon to make an appointment. 652-2196.
The Evangelical Council of Churches, in collaboration with the Full Gospel Businessmen Fellowship International, invites you to join the Christian community in celebration of our 50th anniversary Jubilee of Independence Emancipation Rally, with our specially invited feature speaker all the way from Nigeria, Reverend Mosi Wadugba, accompanied by a contingent of prominent Nigerian dignitaries on Saturday, July the 28th, from 4 p.m. at King George V Park in Port of Spain, and also on Sunday, July the 29th, from 4 p.m. at Dwight York Stadium, Tobago, featuring prominent local artists including Christopher Tambu Herbert, Woodbrook Steel Orchestra, dancers, drummers, and a 100-member choir, and lots more. Admission is free.
Chic Leisure Limited, leading manufacturers of vermicelli, split peas powder, greaseproof paper, manufacturers of a variety of paper and plastic bags, bags for French fries, sandwiches, popcorn, supermarket stores, and more. Whatever your needs, trust to Chic Leisure Limited for quality products. Don't perish in a fire. Safety starts with you. Every second counts. Protect your family, home, and business. New in TNT, the Werner Fire Escape Ladders. Available in 2- and 3-story models. Also available, the Jomi retractable ladders with a drain pipe stylish finish retrofitted for any building structure. Call us now. Authorized dealers, Novalux Media Concepts, 336-5163. Or email novaluxmediaconcepts@gmail.com.
Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. I'm Hema Ramsden. Thanks so much for staying with us. We just have about 2 or 3 minutes again till we wrap this interview. Don't forget, we'll be speaking to the British High Commission about the Olympic celebrations, what we can expect in London. But before we wrap this interview, Mr. Joseph, what can we expect? It's happening on July 28th and 29th?
Yes, we are at the King George V Park in Port of Spain, beginning at 4 p.m. We're going to have a lot of music, a lot of top quality music, dancers, singers, drummers, 100-member choir. We have steel band. It's going to be an overflow and outpouring of thankfulness. And then we go to, that's on Saturday at the King George V Park in Port of Spain at 4 p.m. And then we go to Tobago, Dwight York Stadium on Sunday at 4 p.m. The entourage goes across there and we repeat what we did in Trinidad in Tobago on Sunday.
You have the final words this morning, Mr. Day. What would you like to share with our country?
Just like he has mentioned, the theme of this celebration is overflowing with thankfulness. Every single individual has multiplicity of reasons to be thankful to God. Let me tell you, if you have food in your fridge or in the kitchen and clothes on your body or a roof over your head, you are richer than 75% of the world population today. And if you have your own money in the bank and you're not in debt, you are among the 10% of the world richest population today. And if you woke up this morning with more health than illness, I assure you that you are more blessed than the millions who will not survive next week. Thank you very much.
Remember to appreciate all of your blessings. We now take a very short break. When we come back, we're going to start our interview with the British High Commissioner. Today is the opening ceremony for the London Olympics. What does it mean? Stay with us.
You got to move, 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 move. We like to move, 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 move. All bodies young and old. 7 Seas put you back in the groove. Make your move right. Join KF from 7 Seas. Moving nice and easy from your hip to your knee. Move your body with joy care whenever you please. You got to move, 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 move. We like to move, 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 move.
Put the move back into your groove with 7 Seas Joint Care, the only supplement with Glucomega for healthy, supple joints. Move!
Get ready for back to school at Payless, where you're sure to find unbelievable savings. And we measure your kids' feet for the right fit. So come on in for back to school shoes starting at $80. More styles, more savings, only at Payless.
Don't perish in a fire. Safety starts with you. Every second counts. Protect your family, home, and business. New in TNT, the Werner Fire Escape Ladders. Available in 2- and 3-story models. Also available, the Jomi retractable ladders with a drain pipe stylish finish retrofitted for any building structure. Call us now. Authorized dealers, Novalux Media Concepts, 336-5163. Or email novaluxmediaconcepts@gmail.com. Visit the Redemption Worship Center, a place where miracles do happen and people are blessed at St. Thomas Village, Chaguanas, with Pastors Keith and Radhika Ramdas. Sunday, 8 a.m., Christian education. 9 a.m., worship service. Wednesday, 10 a.m., prayer. Thursday, 7 p.m., Bible study. And Friday, 6:30 p.m., Youth Church Explosion. Special congratulations to Trinidad and Tobago on the 50th anniversary of independence. For more information, call 672-4262.
I believed in myself. I knew I was going to make my country proud. Was I scared? No. It was my proudest moment. I felt I was on top of the world. What makes me proud about Trinidad and Tobago? The belief in ourselves and the ability to win, despite the odds. What are you proud about? Tell us on Twitter by tweeting #I4TNT.
Where there's love for country, there's energy. Where there's energy, there's BPTT.
Welcome on board, ladies and gentlemen. We'd like to thank you for traveling with us. For your convenience, you can find 4 exits, 2 at the front and 2 at the back. Enjoy your drive and have a nice day.
BPTT's Going for Gold is brought to you in part by Ginseng Up, Sissons Paint, BMW, Mini, the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, Penta, and BPTT.
Good morning, Hema, and good morning, Trinidad and Tobago. Well, it's Friday, July 27th, and the long-awaited start to the London Olympics. I'm Roger Santon on behalf of my colleague Hank Williams. We're coming to you actually from a different location today. We're coming to you from central London, and in case you're noticing the building behind me, it's the famed House of Parliament, and the clock tower is in that House of Parliament, and there's a famous bell in that clock tower called Big Ben. And what's happening at 8:12 a.m., which is right about now, Big Ben and clocks and chimes and bells all over the UK are going to ring continuously for 3 minutes. So Big Ben has just started to chime, and it's going to chime for 3 minutes, and there are hundreds, even thousands of people here gathered to capture this moment. It's all meant to welcome the Olympic Games to London. So let's see and listen in for the chiming of Big Ben. So there you got a feel of Big Ben chiming. It's going to chime for about 2 more minutes between 8:12 a.m. and 8:15 a.m. here in London. And as I look around at the hundreds gathered all around, I can see many people holding actually small bells in their hand, and they are ringing their bell in unison with Big Ben chiming here at the clock tower. So there you have it, Hema, and our viewers on the early morning show. An historic moment here in London, Big Ben chiming, and it's all part of our welcome, a special welcome. 3 minutes of chimes from Big Ben. It's all part of that special welcome to the London Olympics. I'm Roger Sant on behalf of my colleague Hank Williams, reporting to you from London, England, host city of the 2012 Olympics.
BPTT's Going for Gold was brought to you in part by Ginseng Up, Sissons Paint, BMW, Mini, the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, Penta, and BPTT.
It's gonna be a great day. Got my Ginseng Up, hey. Let's focus, people. Come on and get it sorted. Get more out of your day. Get things done efficiently. Let's go with it. Come on and just drink it, people. Drink it up now. Drink it up now. Ginseng up now. Ginseng up now. Oh, enjoy the new look and send great taste today. Ginseng Up, the roots of all power.
Sport can take you anywhere. The Ministry of Sport is reaching out, touching you in communities through sport projects and athletics, enhancing opportunities in rural areas, keeping youth on track. Here, we say winning isn't everything, but wanting to is. The Ministry of Sport, touching lives, enhancing living, and creating choices.
Well, today is the big day happening in the world of sport. In the world, every 4 years it happens, the Olympic Games, and it's happening in London. His Excellency Arthur Snell, he's actually the youngest British High Commissioner to, is it the world or is it to Trinidad and Tobago?
Well, probably both.
You know, initially when His Excellency walked in, I was a little shocked and I wondered if the protocol is around. But His Excellency, good morning. Thank you for joining us. Now, Mr. Let's talk a little bit about what we can expect. The Olympics are such a big deal every 4 years. What does this mean for London?
Well, it really is. It's a once-in-a-lifetime experience, obviously. London has had the privilege of hosting the Olympics twice before, 1912, 1948. But, of course, the world has changed completely. The scale of the Olympic Games is totally different. So, really, you know, this is... you run out of superlatives. It's a unique occasion for London. There's going to be huge participation, billions of people all over the world watching, and it's just a fantastic moment.
Now, you know, coming up to the run-up, we're looking at the economic crisis, we're looking at security concerns, London's ability to host this. How, now that it's all come down to deep day, what do you expect to happen today?
Well, I think, as with everything, you know, there's 7 years of preparations. There's always going to be sort of ups and downs, but a few bumps on the road. But I think London is absolutely ready. I think all of the indications, things like arrival times at the airport, there was some concern about that, but that's worked out great. There was some concern about some of the security arrangements, but they've all come together. So I think we're really, you know, we're absolutely sort of on target and good to go.
Now, looking at some of the activities, every year, every host country attempts to make something unique, something memorable. The last time there were Olympics in Beijing, they had a fireworks display, they did special stadia. What will London's legacy be?
Well, the legacy is actually something which is global, and that's one of the reasons that London was selected in the first place. Obviously, there's a lot of construction in the UK. There's new facilities. There's a legacy there for those people, particularly in East London, where they've really regenerated one area. But actually, for example, here in Trinidad and Tobago, we've been running for the last 2 years an Olympic program called International Inspiration, which gets young people involved in sport, helps young people to kind of understand the transformational power of sport. And last night we actually had a function where for a group of youngsters from schools all over Trinidad ran up to Fort George, you know, participated in various events up there. And it's just an example of how sport changed lives. You don't have to be a world record holder to sort of understand that.
Now, if we look at the impact of the Olympics, the economic cost, and I know that a lot of people, even in London, looking at what's happening in the Eurozone, people are looking at the cost benefits, and the government did face some criticism. Do you think now that this day has arrived, where pride is now sweeping all through the world, that's been able to assuage the fears of those who are concerned that it's an investment not worthy at this time?
Yeah, I mean, I think that it seems to me that there's an endless debate about, you know, what does an Olympics cost, what does it ultimately bring to the country. But I think now that we're there, I think inevitably on the lead up you get some people who get a bit sort of tired about it or start to raise criticism. But I think now that we're there, I'm really struck by just this kind of overwhelming positivity. And ultimately, I think, Britain's a country where people, pride manifests itself in different ways, but I think the British people are very, very proud of their country, and particularly London, which is almost a uniquely global city. I mean, in a way, you can't think of a city better suited to hosting this global event.
The world city that needs no introduction but could do with an Olympic-sized pick-me-up in the midst of a painful economic recession launches the 2012 Summer Games with a spectacular opening ceremony today that faces a unique challenge to be as memorable as Beijing. That's always what can you give us any secrets? I mean, obviously you must have heard something.
Yeah, well, I think, a lot is down to every city has its own character. Now, clearly, China is a country, as we all know, with the largest population in the world, and they created something on a massive scale. Britain is a fairly small country, and it's a country that has given the world a lot in terms of kind of art, literature, other cultural things. And so I think it's going to be an opening ceremony that reflects that. It's going to be slightly quirky, slightly different. I'm told that various farmyard animals are involved. They're going to kind of recreate a sort of rural scene of kind of, a kind of rural idyll, if you like. So I think it's going to be something very, very different and memorable.
Something different and memorable. Security was also a major concern. And also, we're looking at the fact that terrorist groups are now infiltrating almost every single country throughout the world.
Yeah, I mean, obviously security is something that's taken very seriously. I think that's an area where the UK has always had a very, very strong, level of expertise. We've got absolutely excellent police and military, and of course, every possible scenario has been thought through, has been trained for, has been practiced. So I think, obviously, the preparations are absolutely there to meet the challenge.
Now, not just looking at that, but, the Olympics and what it does to the, to the sport and to, getting new stars. Last time the Olympics, Usain Bolt phenomena was born. And that's always tied into the Beijing thing. Do you have any favorite sports? Now, are you supporting any of the athletes?
Well, I'm obviously very, very kind of excited at the prospect of TNT getting a second Olympic gold. I think it's time for someone to take that burden off Hasely Crawford's shoulders. But also, personally, I quite enjoy some of the sailing events. You've got a great young sailor in Andrew Lewis. And obviously, I'm going to be cheering on Team GB as well. UK has done very well in cycling in recent years, and also rowing in particular, and quite a few other sports. So, yeah, I think, the great thing about the Olympics is you start to see sports that you don't normally see, and sort of often quite unusual events, and you kind of see the fascination and the expertise and talent that's out there.
How many locals have gone up to the Olympic Games?
Well, I don't know. Obviously, I mean, I'm sure that there will be hundreds of Trimbagonians who've gone, possibly more. I know that the Olympic team, I think you have over 40 athletes, and obviously there's a wider team management and so on. I think one of the things about London, particularly for people from this part of the world, is that it's a city with a large diaspora population from the West Indies. So, to some extent, I believe that, your athletes and others from this region will feel that they're slightly with a home crowd, and I think they'll find that they probably get a lot of people cheering them on, in London.
Just for the locals' information, if they would like to travel to the Games, what should they know? What are the do's and what are the don'ts?
Well, the key point is as citizens of Trinidad and Tobago, you don't need a visa to travel to the UK. Obviously, there's a visa waiver form. I would say, the do's and don'ts, obviously, it's probably at this stage you're unlikely to get tickets if you haven't already got them. But, it's go there, soak up the atmosphere. There's an enormous amount of other things happening, alongside the Olympics, cultural events, just interesting sort of festivals all over the country. And don't just see London, see the rest of England, because, of course, some of the Olympics events are taking outside London, the sailing, obviously, the rowing and so on. So, if take this opportunity to see the whole country.
Now, London is not the same as it was when the Games were awarded 7 years ago. Its serenity and confidence was shaken by riots last year and by terror bombings on the transport network that killed 56 people the day after the International Olympic Committee picked London over Paris in 2005. In London, the Olympic Games have come to a sprawling, historic metropolis. Getting over all of the run-ups, and we all know the stories that led to the announcement and to them winning the bid. Do you think the population is, and even the world is now confident that London can do it and will do it?
Absolutely. I really, no question about that. I think, obviously 7 years is a long time and a lot of things happen in 7 years, but ultimately, one of the really impressive things was that the Olympics preparations were on time and on budget, and the International Olympics Committee, they make regular visits to sort of assess the readiness. And, that was something that they noted. And some other Olympics host cities have had a bit of a mad scramble to get ready. But I think with London, it was noticeable that the sort of keeping to schedule was really, really well done. And this is literally the largest construction project in decades. I mean, the scale of it is almost unimaginable.
Are you travelling to the Games?
I won't be. I'm going to be here in sweet TNT watching it on TV.
Now, looking at, we have a number of local athletes that are obviously there representing red, white, and black. Which is your favorite? Who are you hoping to see come home? Now, you did give the patriotic, diplomatic answer.
Okay. Well, I'll be very honest with you. I mean, I think obviously in the track and field, that's where Trinidad and Tobago really has some particularly strong performers. There's Kellyanne Baptiste is clearly, she's performed very strongly over the years. Richard Thompson, maybe it's a chance for them to kind of shine, maybe in the men's 4x100. But I genuinely I wouldn't want to pick out an individual, because I think one of the great things about the Olympics is that stars are born. People you've never quite heard of suddenly kind of launch themselves on the stage. So I think let's wait and see.
One of the big events that people are looking forward to, I mean, everyone, it's huge, but I think the fact that Usain Bolt has not been performing and now we see this Blake boy just coming out of nowhere, is that something that you think will be one of the big exciting moments of the 2012 Games?
I think that's right. I mean, I think obviously, an Olympic gold is an Olympic gold, but the 100 meters men's final is something that people really, seize on, and it's almost a sort of unbelievable that a human being can sort of move that fast. So I think it's going to be very exciting to see, and obviously this rivalry between Bolt and Blake is fascinating.
Oscar-winning director Danny Boyle is along the cast. What exactly did he bring different to everyone else?
Well, I mean, I think, we'll obviously see today, and just for everybody's information, here in TNT time, it'll be 4 o'clock is the time to be kind of looking at your TV. That'll be the kind of culmination of the opening ceremony. But, I mean, I think the thing is, Danny Boyle is someone who's, as you mentioned, Oscar-winning film director, but he's got a very, very kind of quirky, unusual take. So I think we're going to see an opening ceremony that is completely different to the kind of standard thing of thousands of people marching and so on. It's something really unusual.
No, it's funny that you say that. Most people, when they think of the British, they tend to think very formal, very stiff, very pro. So when you see someone like Danny Boyle be attached and you look, and you already said that we're seeing animals, is it that London is now breaking with tradition, or are you shifting the stereotype?
Well, I guess the stereotype is always, twofold. I mean, obviously, we have this reputation sometimes of sort of formality and tradition, but if you think, the UK has brought, something like Monty Python, lots of kind of quite sort of wacky things over the years, and we have a reputation for, sort of good comedy and so on. Even if you think back to Shakespeare, he wrote some very serious plays and some completely sort of knockabout comedies. So I think that's always been in our national character.
Always in the national character. We do have to go straight to the 7 a.m. newscast. When we come back, we'll just have a few minutes again with the British High Commissioner. He's talked a little bit about what's happening in London, the youngest High Commissioner to Trinidad and Tobago. Stay with us.
Good morning, I am Chester Sambrano, and this is Headline News on CNC3 and the TBC Radio Network. The Ministry of Education has given its commitment to continue to provide free textbooks for students, and Education Minister Dr. Tim Gopee-Singh reminded parents there is no need to run out and buy school books for the new school term.
Under the textbook loan program, the Ministry of Education will continue to provide textbooks to the primary schools from Infants Year 1 to Standard 5 and to secondary schools and early childhood education students as well.
Minister Gopee-Singh also announced that a pilot program for the changes to the SEA exam will begin for the new school year.
The CAC commenced in September 2012 as a pilot project with focus on Standard 4 and Standard 5 students to obtain a continuous assessment mark of 20% that will contribute towards their final SEA mark in 2013. It's a pilot project.
Jamaat al-Muslimin leader Yassin Abu Bakr will not testify in his defense when the sedition trial resumes today. After legal arguments earlier this week, the state closed its case against Bakr with the testimony of former independent senator and interreligious organization president Brother Noble Khan. Bakr, through his attorneys, opted not to testify or call witnesses to testify in his defense. Instead, his attorney, Wayne Sturge, will begin his address to the 9-member all-female jury, who is sitting in the trial this morning. Special State Prosecutor Dana Sitahal SC is expected to follow Sturge, after which Justice Mark Mohammed will begin his summation to the jury before they are allowed to deliberate on the case. The nation's prison officers are threatening a work to rule and say there may be an increase in sick leave, as they demanded a meeting with Prime Minister Kamla Persad-Bissessar. The officers are upset over the PM's decision to move them from the Ministry of National Security to the Justice Ministry without consultation. They say if the Prime Minister fails to address their concerns, it could result in a demoralized and weakened prison system.
What you will see is a withholding of enthusiasm by officers in the prison service. Why? Prison officers don't feel to come to work at this point in time.
Nigerian President Goodluck Jonathan and his wife will be the guests of honor of the government for this year's emancipation celebrations. President Jonathan will be accompanied by a 70-member delegation and will arrive next Tuesday. Stay with us. We'll have another news update at the top of the hour, and our major newscast is at 7 this evening, where we'll also have coverage from our team of Roger Sant and Hank Williams covering the Olympics in London.
Welcome back to Trinidad and Tobago. We're continuing our discussion on the Olympics that's happening. His Excellency Arthur Snell is here with us. He is the High Commissioner to Britain. He's attached to the Trinidad and Tobago Consulate and that. You know, we're looking at what's happening today. It's a big day in the world of sport. The Olympics, something that, you know, we all look forward to. What do you see, Mr. Stasi? What does the Olympics mean to you, personally?
Well, I think, you know, the Olympics is in one case a celebration of the human spirit, you know, what individuals do, whatever sport, whatever discipline they practice. It's always amazing to hear these stories of people, you know, the years of dedication, training and so on. But I think that means something to all of us. You don't have to be an Olympic athlete to recognize, you know, if you like, the benefits and the kind of, the way that it really develops sort of human capability and so on. So I think the Olympics on that human level is very impressive, but it's also impressive to see a country, in this case, you know, the United Kingdom, and see London come together, you know, literally thousands of people, volunteers and so on, if you like, become hosts to the world. You know, it's almost like it's a sort of a party where the whole world is invited.
A party where the whole world is invited. What do you see as the legacy of the London Olympics?
Well, of course, there's a physical legacy in terms of some of the new facilities, and as I mentioned earlier, a whole area of London has been regenerated, an area that was historically quite, you know, had lacked quite a lot of development. But also there's a global legacy. You know, young people all over the world have been involved in sport programs, development programs, and so on. And there's a legacy globally in terms of how the Olympics will inspire individuals. You know, this year, probably probably a new Olympian will be forged as someone who watches the games and is inspired to take up a new sport as a result.
Your closing comment to Trinidad and Tobago. Today is one of the biggest days in the world of sport. It's a huge day for London. The world is watching. You know, I joked about the fact that when I saw that Danny Boy was attached, I thought, that's so weird. Because, you know, I really do think of London as traditional, very stiff, you know, very all the protocols being followed. Danny is like one of those directors who's known for being quirky and eccentric and doing things quite differently.
Well, I guess with that thought then, I think this will be a day for people to kind of revise their views of London. Of course, it's a very historic city, but it's also one of the most multicultural cities in the world, one of the most diverse in terms of art and other things. So I think, yeah, this is a day for people to kind of revise their opinion.
Revise their opinion. Thank you so much. We are now going to go to a very, very short break. We just conclude our discussion with His Excellency Arthur Snell, and he's telling us it's going to revive. Today's opening ceremony will be something that you did not expect. The legacy of the London Olympics will continue well beyond 2012. New stars are born. Will be born today. It's one of the greatest days in the world of sport. The world watches with pride as all of our young athletes make their name on the world stage. Will you be watching? I definitely will be tuned in a little later. And London is really one of my favorite cities in the world, and I think I probably should make a visit before it starts snowing. I'm Eva Ramkisoon, and Jassy Muric will be joining you on set off, so stay with us.
It's Spice Mass 2012! Uniquely rooted in our rich ancestral traditions. Come celebrate shortly legacy of the Shantwell. Grenada, July 27th to August 14th. Enjoy the pageantry and safety of the Caribbean's last lap carnival. Spice Mass 2012, featuring our traditional mass, panorama, soca, calypso. We must play jab jab and the most colorful street party in the world. Monday Night Mass. Spice Mass Grenada, July 27th to August 14th. Shortly legacy of the Shantwell. Call your travel agent or visit www.spicemassgrenada.com for more information.
Warranty, reliability, maintenance-free? Come to D. Rampersad & Company for Mac batteries, the cheapest in the market. D. Rampersad & Company Limited is the largest in automotive engineering machine shop and spare parts supplies. We also provide resleeving, reboring, crankshaft grinding, and complete cylinder head services for Japanese auto parts like Mazda, Mitsubishi, 4D56, and more. So come in or call us today.
We are touched by your smiles and your friendships, by your appreciation of the past and your ability to see the future. We're motivated by your drive and your willingness to try new things. We are fascinated that even though you are so very different, you still see yourself as so very much the same. We are energized by how hard you work and your ability to have a good time, by your pride and your passion. We are moved by your every new beginning and wonderful end. Every day we're inspired by your likes and your lives, and we'll continue to challenge ourselves to remain a big part of them both. Bermudez, biscuits we love.
If you're looking for a fence or deck that can stand up to the weather, then look no more. Touch of Class Fencing has the solutions for every property throughout Trinidad and Tobago. We offer vinyl arbors, vinyl pergolas, vinyl decks, even aluminum fences and chain link fences for commercial and industrial. Visit us at Lightpole 315 Southern Main Road, Cunupia, or call us for a free estimate today, 223-9199 or 314-5348. Touch of Class Fencing. Good fences make good neighbors.
This is Let's Talk Tobago. Be viewing Let's Talk Tobago every Sunday at 6:25 p.m. on CNC3. Let's Talk Tobago, keeping you abreast of Tobago's development. Join us every Sunday at 6:25 p.m. as we talk Tobago, and let's build the nation of Trinidad and Tobago together.
Get luxury doors and vanities at Rupnarine Home Centre, now open at corner Brent Street and Wrighton Road, Woodbrook. Come in or call us today at 624-7667. Rupnarine Home Centre, your leader in home improvement.
Need to fix your plumbing, shower, or bathroom? Yes, we have that too. Pipes, shower fittings, toilets, the widest range of Makita, Stanley, and all other hardware supplies at competitive prices. Visit our website or come in today at 185 Union Road, Marabella. Southern Wholesale Stores Limited. More than just a hardware.
Good morning and welcome back to the early morning show. And of course, as Hema put it, the biggest day in sport in the world, possibly, as the London Olympics get set to be opened officially in just about 7 hours' time. But just so that one particular issue is not lost or buried under all the Olympic hype, we want to highlight and emphasize that Trinidad and Tobago has two representatives to the CONCACAF Champions League in the form of Caledonia AIA and the W Connection, and both those teams will be going into action from early next week. On set with me right now is coach of Caledonia AIA, Jamal Shabazz, a man well known across the footballing circles, not just here in Trinidad and Tobago, but also in the Caribbean. Jamal, good morning and welcome.
Thank you.
Now, of course, a very big, major task awaits Caledonia AIA. First of all, congratulations for getting this far in the competition as Caribbean champions. But next week, you all head out to face the Seattle Sounders in their home territory to try and progress from this group. Just tell me a bit, how are Caledonia's preparations going at this point in time?
I think we came off a long season in the TT Pro League, June to June, because of the CFU qualifiers took us into June, and we had only 2 weeks rest, but the guys are so eager and it's a new challenge for us. We carry the hopes and aspirations of the TT Pro League, the Caribbean, you know, and Trinidad and Tobago mainly, because we are out of the World Cup, we are out of the Olympics, you know. It gives an opportunity for our national players and the players in the country to keep in touch with the highest level of the game in the region.
Now, of course, you mentioned that you carry the hopes of the country, which is so downtrodden of late as far as football goes. Just tell me a bit about how seriously really is Caledonia taking this task? Is this camp perhaps a bit carried away with the magnitude of the whole situation? How are you all taking it?
I think we want to qualify to come out of the group. We see the possibilities. We've been big supporters of the teams coming out of the Pro League who've played in the Champions League in the past, like Sanman Jablote, Joe Public, W Connection. We've always followed, you know, carefully, putting ourselves in that position. I remember after watching games, the players would talk the next day of what we would do and wouldn't do. And now it's our turn, and we're excited for it. We don't feel overawed by the situation, but we know it's going to be a huge task, you know. But going away from home against Seattle, they have the biggest attendance in the MLS. It's two leagues going to clash here. We see ourselves as representing the Pro League, which is very dear to us because it gives livelihood to so much of young people in Trinidad and Tobago. So it's really a clash of our league and their league and our industry against theirs.
Now, of course, just 3 teams in the groups of the CONCACAF Champions League this time around. One spot available for the next phase of the competition. You start on the road. Does that make your task even more difficult?
Well, I think we're so excited. We even naive to the dangers of meeting an opponent away from home. We really, you know, look forward to it. We know that we have to adjust our game and be more tactically sound in terms of playing away from home. But fear really is not an option for us. It's more an opportunity, you know, to make a name for ourselves, our community. You know, we've had so many negatives about Morvant, Laventille, and this is a moment to put Mova and Laventille, you know, on the map in a more positive way.
Now, of course, you qualified for this competition alongside W Connection, a very fierce rivalry developing between you two over the years. What are your wishes for that team? You know, a fellow Trinidad and Tobago team, still opposition though. What are your wishes for them in this competition?
Well, we are closest to W Connection. We were closest to Joe Public before, but Joe Public ran away from the league in a cowardly fashion. But we are very close to W Connection. We are strong rivals, but we admire what they've brought to Trinidad and Tobago's football and the level of their operations. So, you know, we wish them all the best as well, you know, and we hope that both of us could come out of the group stages and go on to the quarterfinal stages. They've been there before, and they've shown a good example by starting with a young team, you know, last season, and we have a lot of lessons that we continue to learn from them.
Now, of course, if you were to meet, I'm sure the camaraderies would end just there in this competition. But Jamal, just tell me a bit more about perhaps the squad, your composition of your squad. Of course, over the years, you've been giving younger players that opportunity. Will that remain the same for this competition?
Yes, we have some injury concerns. We know Atula Guerra for the first round. He's injured. Devon Jocelyn has returned to the Defence Force. That is a huge loss. But it has opened up doors for other players to come to the fore. Jamal Gay is there, the captain, Stefan David, Kareem Joseph, Glenroy Samuels is with us now. So we have Walter Moore from Guyana. So that Conrad Smith is now rounding into form and fitness. So we have guys eager to step up to the plate and take up the mantle and take it forward.
Earlier in this discussion, you mentioned Caledonia's sense of perhaps the word slips me right now, but your desire to do well, not just for yourselves, but the whole of Trinidad and Tobago. How much does Trinidad and Tobago need a good display from the local clubs representing in a CONCACAF championship like this one?
I think we need this badly. Too many times the different sectors in local football operate separately. We've got to look towards a collective effort, and W Connection and Caledonia AIA are the national representatives. We are the national team right now, and it is so important that the nation sees this and give their support. Of course, people won't go to Seattle, but they can send their good vibes and their good feelings, and we must, you know, collect that spirit, because football means so much to us and to our people. In 2006, we saw that. And the Pro League and playing these matches on a weekly basis are the stepping stone to rebuilding a new national team for the future.
Having said that, how much support have you been given, whether it be from the man in the street or the people in the neighborhood that you'll train or playing? What kind of support have you been given since qualifying for this tournament?
I think from the people have been very positive, but they have not been forthcoming financially. We understand that. Neil and Massey, our main sponsor, has done well for us. The sports company, the Ministry of Sports, they have chipped in. You know this thing that they say, ask Anil. We have asked Anil, and we've gotten some help. And, you know, we want to thank the people at the Ministry of Sports and the sports company, Neil and Massey. We, you know, are still working with one of our sponsors, NLCB. They have not been as forthcoming as contractually they should, but we still, you know, working with them towards resolving that matter.
Okay, folks, as the Olympics are set to begin shortly, spare a thought for local football, and of course Caledonia AIA and W Connection will be seeking to represent Trinidad and Tobago to the fullest at the CONCACAF Champions League starting next week. Of course, Caledonia's first fixture versus Seattle Sounders in Seattle on August 2nd. Again, please do spare a thought. When we come back, we continue talking football, but it's the Digital Kickstart Clinic which kicks off in just a couple of days' time. And do stay with us. We'll continue after this break.
To alleviate traffic congestion in West Port of Spain, the Ministry of Works and Infrastructure is implementing an experimental traffic scheme in Woodbrook, St. James and their environs. Please take note of the new arrangements and plan your trips accordingly. The following are the one-way configurations in the St. James area. Western Main Road, one-way west, except for the section between Roxy Roundabout and Long Circular Road, which will remain two-way. Additionally, Western Main Road between the Cookridge Flyover and the traffic lights at George Cabral Street also remains two-way. Other changes include Church Street, one-way east, Quaminal Street, one-way west, Romeo Street, one-way north, Hyderabad Street, one-way east, Nizam Street between Panka Street and Hyderabad Street, one-way north, Bay Road, one-way south, Broad Street, one-way south, Matura Street, one-way south, and Wick Street, one-way south. All restrictions, including parking, are indicated by traffic signs throughout the scheme. For further details, please check the press, the Ministry's website, and our Facebook page.
Where we going tomorrow? We going to Tobago. It's yours, mine, and ours. We going to Tobago.
It's the 25th anniversary of the Tobago Heritage Festival and everybody's invited. The celebration's bigger than ever this year with more villages, more shows, plus cultural favorites like the goat and crab races, an old-time Tobago wedding, oh gosh, and the food, July 13th to August 1st. Mark it down, July 13th to August 1st. 25th Annual Tobago Heritage Festival. Yours, mine, and ours to preserve and protect. Whoa-yo-yo!
Relive fond memories of the Treehouse at Driftwood Restaurant and Poolside Bar located at Tradewinds Hotel, San Fernando. Enjoy small buffet breakfast, a la carte lunch and dinner served daily. Sunday buffet breakfast. Wednesday, 2 meats poolside barbecue with live pan. Friday night entertainment. And Saturday nights, order lobster dinner at half price. Dine outdoors, poolside, or enjoy AC dining indoors. Your wish is our command. Come and enjoy great ambience and have a good time. For reservations, call 376-0907 or 290-1305 through 8. Don't miss these super discounts at Motor Live's Rainy Day Sale, now on.
Hi, I'm Marcel, and thanks to Nirvana Weight Loss Clinic, I lost 69 pounds 3 years ago. Now I'm brimming with energy, glowing with radiance and self-confidence, and life has a brand new meaning, and I still enjoy my new body image. Thanks, Nirvana.
You really like your Subway? How come?
Well, I love fresh salads.
I love the breakfast too.
I love the foot long. I love mine got right through.
I love my Subway with all the fresh veggies.
Boom-de-ada, 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 boom-de-ada.
I love the healthy choice.
I love that everywhere. I love mine toasted quick.
And that they really care.
I love my Subway.
Prepare just how I say. Boom-de-ada, 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 boom-de-ada.
I really love my Subway.
I love fresh gourmet bread.
I love mine stuff just right.
I love their awesome team.
I love mine in the night.
I love my Subway with all the choice of meats. Boom-de-ada, 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 boom-de-ada.
Subway, eat fresh. If your guests are pests, then call General Pest Control. We offer effective treatment using the latest technology against termites, rats, roaches, mosquitoes, ants, mice, pigeons, and lots more. Total eradication, guaranteed jobs, no callbacks. Get a 10% discount as an introductory offer with free estimates and inspections. Centrally located in Caroni, or call 645-4871. General Pest Control. Satisfaction guaranteed.
Welcome back to the Early Morning Show. And of course, this is our Spotlight program. And as promised, we're talking football, continuing to talk football. And the Digital Kickstart Clinic comes into focus. It's the 5th edition of this very popular clinic for young footballers, looking for that introduction to professional life and professional football. And of course, joining me on set, Penny Gomez. I'll start with her. She's seated in between Dion Lafoucade to the extreme left, and of course to my immediate left, Mr. Dexter Skeen, no stranger to our studios here at CNC3. Good morning and welcome to you all.
Good morning. Good morning.
I'll start with Ms. Gomez again. Penny, as I've been instructed to address her, just tell us a bit of this 5th edition of the Digital Kickstart Clinic.
Well, this year, the Digital Kickstart Clinic has a wonderful twist to it. Last year we hosted the first academy in the region when the Sunderland coaches came down. This year we will host clinic, and 30 boys will have the opportunity to go through the drills and all those skills under John Barnes. So that takes place on the weekend of August 11th and 12th. But coming out of that, 3 of those boys will be chosen to go to Barbados for the Digicel Chelsea FC Academy. So this really is a new dynamic to the Kickstart Clinics, because we formed a partnership with Chelsea FC, and of course, they're the reigning FA Cup champions, Champion League, so we can want more than that, really. So it really is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, and this year the theme is Your Legend Starts Here. So we have a passion for football. We believe in the continuity of the game. It's so important that you build that. And so we're investing in these boys. So boys who really do have that passion, that determination. It's important that we see that talent and we develop it. So this is what the camp will do. So we're very excited about that. The partnership with Chelsea FC will be announced formally this weekend in Miami. With a press conference, and 3 people from Trinidad will be attending that. 1 journalist and 1 person who they were part of a promotion at Digicel ran, and they were allowed to take a guest with them. So that will happen, and then they will be treated to again as a friendly at the Sun Life Stadium. So Chelsea and AC Milan. So they're going to be going to that as well too. And then we go into our screening, and the reason that these 2 illustrious men are here this morning with me, it's because of the 30 boys will be chosen from our football partners, the Lafoucade Football Clinic, and of course the Pro League, Digicel Pro League. So we're looking forward to it. It really will be for the boys, the 30 boys, to be trained under, to be tutored by John Barnes. That in itself is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity, but then even more so than for the 3 who will be chosen to go to Barbados in October.
Now, the TT Pro League, let me bring Dexter in here. The TT Pro League has an ongoing youth program. And, of course, this is an opportunity now for these youngsters to show their skill, demonstrate their skill in front of John Barnes, a legendary footballer himself. Just tell us a bit about, that synergy and the importance of continuing that youth program that the TNT Pro League currently runs.
Well, good morning to all CNC listeners and viewers. And let me first say that, this initiative of Digicel is fully in line with the TT Pro League's mission and vision, which is to ensure that we have a sustainable professional football industry in Trinidad and Tobago. And part of this vision is to ensure that we have a continuous development program in place for the youths. We have to ensure that the transition takes place from the youth to the senior level, that there is some sort of pathway from the youth level to the senior level. And during that process, it is critical that you have these type of programs whereby the youngsters, the thousands of youngsters, people underplay the value of sport and football in particular to the youngsters. Because when you have a John Barnes and a Chelsea associated with an organization and something that the youths can look forward to, then you have the 5- and 6-year-olds. We're not even talking about the 18- and 19-year-olds. We have the 5- and 6-year-olds who are looking on and saying, hey, listen, someday I can be there to go to Chelsea and can have the opportunity. So from now, I'm going to have the discipline and I'm going to hone my skills so that maybe I can take advantage of this opportunity. So it is with extreme pleasure and happiness that I'm looking forward to this. And let me say that this is the 3rd year that we're going to with Digicel, sorry, the fourth year actually with Digicel. So the partnership is really, taking off, and we're pleased to be associated with Digicel, and we're looking forward to this initiative and to ensuring that we give our Pro League youngsters the opportunity once again to rub shoulders with the likes of the John Barnes and the people at Chelsea, and it is important that they, as you did from the question that you asked me, that they, from this association, from this experience, come back and pass on this experience to the youngsters back here, because when they come back from that type of environment and they are now able to share the experience and the professionalism and so on that they have experienced at Chelsea, it adds value and so on, and it helps the whole environment here as well for us to take it up another level.
Now, Mr. Lafugard, you've had a long association with youth football from ever since I can remember myself. Just tell us a bit about what particularly about this program attracts you and draws you in and makes you want to be a part of it.
Well, to be honest, I want to thank Digicel for coming on board and being such a consistent sponsor to the Lafugard Clinic and also to the Pro League. As Dexter just said, a lot of youngsters, Dwight York, I have to call his name, has really given a lot of youngsters hope. And that will happen for a very long time. And getting an opportunity to be exposed to what is being done at the highest level in the game, that is a great opportunity. It's very difficult sometimes for the youngsters just to go and, Mom, I want to go to Manchester United and just turn up there, or Chelsea or Sunderland. It doesn't happen like that. You need clear pathways. And here, Digicel has provided an opportunity, firstly with John Barnes, and then with interaction with the Chelsea coaches. And I think coming out of the Chelsea program, one or two youngsters might get a chance to even go to Chelsea and practice. So there's a proper pathway there for the players.
Now, just before you all came on, I was speaking to Jamal Shabazz, who's leading Caledonia in the CONCACAF Champions League this year. Now, what he was alluding to is the fact that this competition allows these youths that opportunity, that stage to showcase their talents and whatnot. How important is something like this, particularly for Trinidad and Tobago, looking to continue that success firstly at the Caribbean level and then emerge as a CONCACAF powerhouse again, I should say?
Well, it's very, very important because youngsters need guidance, and if you don't give them any guidance, they're going to get involved in things that, well, let's say they don't really want to get involved in. Football is a big sport in the country, and the Pro League and the different leagues in the country gives youngsters an opportunity and something to look forward to. Now, not everybody's going to become a Dwight York, but just having a dream and just knowing that, heck, I took part and I gave up my best. Okay, somebody got in front of me, but just I think just getting an opportunity to express yourself and to come out and do something positive, staying away from the video games, you're out, the lifestyle and it becomes better.
Penny, just apart from that new Chelsea association that you all have formed, what about this year's 5th edition? Well, could we see any changes, any differences in the way it's run?
Well, we will open the screening to the public, and we will get those details out soon. But you will be able to upload your video, doing your little demonstrations and so on, and you will be judged along with other uploads, video uploads from people around the region. So there will be a wild card from, the public.
Right.
And I think even coming out of, the camp, even though there are 3 spaces, there's still some surprises in store. So we're looking forward to that.
That technological direction is very interesting as well, because I remember looking at one of your former students, I believe, Matthew Wooling, on the internet. He's quite a sensation, and he also took part in this Kickstart.
That's correct. He went off to Sunderland. Yes.
Now, in terms of that in particular, it's very interesting that you should mention it. That technological direction, Dion mentioned that, he wants to get children away from the video games and whatnot, but having them understand the different avenues, not just of playing football, but being able to create videos and the entertainment aspect of football. How important is that in terms of instilling that in our children?
Well, I think it's about using the technology and not abusing it, but using it to your advantage. So I think one of the wonderful things about the Digicel Kickstart clinics is that apart from whatever happens on the field, the training on the field, John Barnes, who's lived it, he is going to be talking to the boys about positioning themselves, about personal development, about using avenues so that they give themselves really the best possible advantage going forward in terms of developing their career. And I think because he has an association with Digicel, I know we brought him on, and he's very familiar with technology, I think he's able to marry both really. So the good thing about it is that unlike perhaps, us growing up, the children are so aware of what's happening in terms of technological developments. So they are able to manipulate that technology. It's just really about guiding them in the right path to make sure that they are using it for good, so to speak.
A question I'd like to throw to Dexter now. The TT Pro League is partnering with Digicel on this initiative, and of course Chelsea is the spotlight, that the focus that we want the children to turn to. But how well poised is the TT Pro League perhaps to cash in on some of that attraction and attention, perhaps letting these children know that this is also an avenue. Of course, you want to aspire to the Chelsea heights and whatnot and what have you, but of course we have a professional league here that offers you something as well.
Well, it's all part of the whole the progress and the pathway that we have set out for the players and the clubs. The league is basically at this point a stepping stone towards the bigger leagues, the Premierships and the La Ligas. And when you have an opportunity for someone to go to a Chelsea or, as I said, to some foreign club, which is where the Pro League is heading, it's important for them to have, and the word is exposure that you're looking at. So we're looking at them being able to have the opportunity to be exposed to the talent abroad and so on, and the clubs abroad. And when you have, like the Caledonians playing in the CONCACAF Championship, that is important as well. So all of those are different ingredients and so on that we have set up for the clubs and for the players to be able to participate in. And Digicel is our main sponsor, and we are pleased, as I said, to be associated with them. And we look forward to, a pretty exciting season. And this is only part and parcel of one of our many initiatives, which comes, it's in line with our whole project as well, which is for the community development and so on, and youth initiatives. And the Pro League, will continue in this vein, throughout the 2012-2013 season.
Beautiful. There you have it, the Digicel Kickstart Clinic, the 5th edition of this very popular and very successful clinic for young children or young boys hoping to make it someday in the professional world of football. It's being run on the 11th and 12th that weekend. 30 young children will have the opportunity, so keep your eyes and ears on the lookout, young kids and as well the parents, for this opportunity. Penny, just finally, just tell us when we could expect registration to begin and whatnot.
Well, registration should begin next week, so we will get those details out to you via press, via Facebook, so you can definitely look forward to that. Beautiful.
Look forward to the Digicel Kickstart Clinic for 2012. I'd like to thank all three of you for joining me on set this morning, and hope that you would this edition of the Kickstart Clinic turns out to be as successful as the ones before. Thank you, and when we come back, we continue talking about the Olympics. Of course, the General Secretary of the TTOC will be joining us, Mr. Brian Lewis, and of course we will delve into all matters Olympic just after these messages.
A healthy, home-cooked meal starts with the right ingredients. We at Premium Quality Meats Limited guarantee products of the very best standard, because we know that your family deserves nothing but the best. We're the exclusive providers of stewing hens and offer a wide variety of choices at affordable prices. Chicken, beef, goat, lamb, pickled meats and frozen vegetables. We're also the agents for Olympia Gyros, Gold Label and garden-made French fries. Different cuts, straight, crinkle and steak. Premium Quality Meats Limited, wholesalers and retailers. Phone 636-7582.
Get ready for back to school at Payless, where you're sure to find unbelievable savings. And we measure your kids' feet for the right fit. So come on in for back-to-school shoes starting at $80. More styles, more savings, only at Payless.
Refresh yourself with T-Best Aloe Vera Drink. The magic of aloes plus all-natural flavor. Even with a high 30% aloe vera concentration, it tastes great. Feed your body some goodness. Drink T-Best Aloe Vera from Regal, the one with 30% aloes and only natural flavor. Distributed by Regal Products Limited.
Introducing a new concept in shopping in Trinidad. AmazingBuysTT.com. Choose from thousands of products. Check out our specials. Free online gift registry. Shop from the comfort of your home. AmazingBuysTT.com. Call us at 652-4438.
It's our mission. This is our vision. Making it happen. Making it happen. We're making a difference. Here and now, across the land, Trinidad and Tobago. Open your eyes, realize there's so much waiting for you.
Republic Bank Limited, in collaboration with TNT Blind Welfare Association, present Vision Caravan from May to September 2012 throughout rural Trinidad and Tobago. Come, have your eyes tested and experience a new vision. See press for details.
Open your eyes, become aware, make use of what's here for you. Be part of the vision now.
In celebration of Republic Bank's 175th anniversary, Vision Caravan.
Put speed and efficiency to work by using Skyjack platform lifts on your next project. Skyjack makes your work safer and easier with working heights up to 30 feet. Skyjack puts you within reach. Call Santiquip at 679-6000 for more details.
Going shopping in the USA? Worried about not being able to fit everything in your suitcase? Worry no more. Buy all you want and ship it home with Aeropost. Sign up today and ship your purchases with Aeropost. We'll deliver it to you easily, safely, and hassle-free. Sign up today for your own Aeropost Miami address. Visit us at Arapita Avenue, Fernandez Compound, Gogo Lands, Point Lisas, and Tobago, or online at www.aeropost.com/POS. Aeropost, online shopping made easy. Superb Caterers. The name says it all. We are TNT's #1 choice for catering of all events, serving TNT for almost 20 years. We cater events from 10 to 4,000 persons and guarantee prompt, reliable, friendly and efficient service, whatever the time, place or event. Call 653-1896. That's 653-1896. Superb Caterers. We are superb.
Burns, at the age of 29, will be representing Trinidad and Tobago in his 4th Olympics come Friday. He made his debut at the age of 17 in Sydney. 2004, he was in Athens, and last time around, 2008 in Beijing. He has been a consistent performer for Trinidad and Tobago at the age group level, CARIFTA, CAC, Commonwealth, and the Olympic Games. He has won 3 World Championship Sprint silver relay medals and a Commonwealth Games individual sprint medal, in addition to 2 World Junior individual sprint medals. He's a former Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee Sportsman of the Year. The honor was handed to him by Trinidad and Tobago's chef de mission, Annette Knott, and she said, quote, "A quiet and dignified gentleman who always gives the best for his country. His consistency, dedication, integrity, and selfless patriotism have been exemplary. He has earned the honor of leading TNT during the London 2012 Parade of Nations." Meanwhile, TTOC President Larry Romani was high in praise of Burns as well, saying, quote, "I was chef de mission at the Sydney Olympics when the then 17-year-old Mark made his Olympic debut. Over the years, it has been a privilege to work with Mark. He is a class act who has never failed to answer the call, be it CAC, Pan Am, Commonwealth, or Olympic Games." End quote. Reporting from London, England, I'm Roger Sant.
I imagine that's a great lead-off leg for this segment of our program. Of course, we're chatting with Brian Lewis, who's the General Secretary of the Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee. And I was just asking Brian, just offset, just why is this such a secret, the flag bearer for a country? Of course, that was just announced yesterday. Why is this such a secretive matter?
It's a pleasure to be here. Good morning to you and your listeners and your viewers. It's just one of the quirks of the Olympic tradition with the Olympic Games. It's not something that it's only Trinidad and Tobago would have done. So, for example, different countries do it differently. There are some countries who would have announced it way in advance, but some of them keep to the tradition. So, for example, Australia and New Zealand are two examples. They would have announced their own last night at actually a black tie function that they traditionally hold for all their athletes at the games, the Olympic Village, and they would have made the announcement. It is usually a decision, and traditionally it's a decision that's made by the chef de mission, no one else. They may decide, in this case, our Annette Knott, who is also a Trinidad and Tobago Olympic Committee Vice President, she would decide whether she would consult with the managers or whatever. So that it's just part of the tradition, and it's a tremendous honor to carry the flag in the Parade of Nations at an Olympic Games opening ceremony. And most athletes treat it as such. And if you look at some of the bigger countries, you know, it's always a tremendous honor.
Clearly, because when you look at perhaps some of the names and the personalities in our Trinidad and Tobago camp, we have an Olympic silver medalist in Richard Thompson and an individual medalist. We have George Ravel, who is already a flag bearer. For Mark Burns to emerge as the eventual person, it must be an honor.
Well, as I was saying, I think that I know that this time around George Bovell may not have wanted to participate at the Olympic game, at the opening ceremony, and I believe from what I saw in the papers, Richard Thompson may be in Norway. That having been said, I mean, as I was saying a while ago too, if I were the chef, and I have been a chef, Mark Burns would be my choice, and that is not to take away anything from anybody else, because when you look at the length and breadth and the depth of his contribution in terms of Olympic sports. I mean, this is his 4th Olympic Games. The fact that he's a tremendous athlete who have delivered for Trinidad and Tobago over a number of years consistently. And he's somebody who always asks not what his country can do for him, but he can do for his country. I mean, an example that stands out in my mind would have been his utterances at the 2007 Pan American Games. I mean, the chef spoke about it, I think, in one of the daily papers I saw. She said it in an interview where there were some challenges at the Pan Am Games in 2007 in terms of the sprint relay, and whether it's through availability or injury. And at a very crucial point, Mark Burns said to the chef de mission and the team, if it have 3 people alone to run this relay, and I, Mark Burns, have to run 2 legs for my country, we're going to do it, and I am going to do it. I mean, it's not possible to run a relay with 3 people, but it articulated the depth of the man and his commitment, and the fact that, you know, he's not one of those people who are very ego-oriented, you know, he's a team player, and I think that it couldn't have someone more deserving. I mean, he's a tremendous credit to his family, his sport, and the country. That's Mark Burns.
Brilliant. Now, the opening ceremony is scheduled to begin in just a couple hours.
Very exciting.
What's the feedback from perhaps
very
our camp?
Positive. There is always a tremendous feeling of anticipation and excitement. I mean, I've had a tremendous honor and privilege to be a chef de mission at the 2004 Olympic Games in Athens, and I know well the feeling and the anticipation. I can imagine London is 5 hours ahead now, so it's that's about 1, 2 o'clock. From now, teams are starting to prepare and dress, because how it's done, as you can imagine, it's 205 countries to parade. So they do it, they put the teams in another facility, and you get called according to how you fall in terms of the Parade of Nations. So it is actually a process that could be starting in an hour in terms of the teams being bussed to the holding day, as they call it. It's a tremendous occasion and feeling. I mean, walking into that stadium, you know, it's going to be packed, 80,000 people. Your country's flag, your country, it's just awesome. And, it's a life-changing, it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. And for those people who have qualified for Olympics twice, 3, and 4 times, I mean, it's just awesome.
That anxiety, coupled with the fact that you have to perhaps wait for so long for a country like Trinidad and Tobago, that's down the line.
Yeah,
it could be even taxing on some of the athletes.
Well, that's why some athletes, especially if they're competing within the first 48 hours of the game, regardless of what country you come from, they would hardly participate in the opening ceremony. But for those who have made a choice, and the choice is entirely up to the athletes, and I'm informed that in the Trinidad and Tobago camp, I think over 24 of the athletes, I think the only athletes who may not be participating in the parade will be George Bovell, I think Richard Thompson, who may not be, who is not there, and Roger Daniel. Both George Bovell III and Roger Daniel are going to be competing within the first 24 to 48 hours. So that other than that, I think everybody else is very keen. I mean, and I think there's a tremendous feedback too, positive feedback and excitement as it relates to their opening wear, which was designed by two young local designers, Richard Hope and Miss Abraham. And they're going up in, so to speak, because the opening ceremony now and the dress for it, it's become such a thing with some of the big designers in the world.
I want to talk a little bit about that.
Etc.
I want to talk a little bit about because that is a phenomenon of the modern games as well.
Yes, it is very much so.
We have to take a very short break, and when we come back, we continue with that line of discussion. Designers playing their part in the Olympic Games. Stay with us.
Mega warehouse sale at Grand Source Warehouse Compound, Frederick Settlement, Caroni. This Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Everything at factory prices, both new and used items, all price to go. Grand Source 3-day mega warehouse sale this Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Telephone 665-9253. Grand Source.
Sometimes I get a good feeling. Yeah. Get a feeling that I never had before. Don't know. I get a good feeling, yeah. Oh, sometimes.
Surf, stream, share faster than ever before on Digicel's super fast 4G network. It's summer in 4G. Get your smartphone with a smart plan on the smartest network in TNT. Sign up for our newest postpaid smart plans now. Plus, for a limited time, get 1 month subscription free and 4G smartphones for $199. Be extraordinary. Digicel.
There's really one bank, it can depend on friendly service every day. It's really one standard of treating you like you deserve to be. Yeah, Republic is only the best to you. We get personal attention, so explain for your inspection.
I think as an artist, it's important to know who you are and what you're for. So it's good to come back home, come back to base, to my roots. If we are a dot, let's be the most creative, passionate, energetic dot they've ever seen. I for that. It's just that amazing simplicity that I love about Trinidad that continues to inspire me. What are you proud about? Tell us on Twitter by tweeting I4TANDT.
Where there's love for country, there's energy. Where there's energy, there's BPTT.
Circles of Penta. Enter our circle, the circle of Penta. Circles of color, blending together.
The true beauty of Penta's quality starts with something only Penta has. Formulast technology for paint that lasts longer and more beautifully.
Color and quality, harmoniously balanced.
Paint the possibilities with Penta for the quality of Formulast in every can.
My brother Freddie, he's an actor and a model. And my brother Adam, he works with architects, importing stone and marble from Italy. I like to work hard, play rough. Freddie, on the other hand, he likes to play it smooth. Freddie orders some mini skinny latte. No milk, no sugar, no this, no that. My brother just drinks espresso.
Freddie loves all the attention he can get. For me, being on my own, it's wonderful too.
To be honest, you'll never find me and Fred driving the same car. Steak? Again. Sushi.
Time to let you know.
Be BPTT's Going for Gold is brought to you in part by Ginseng Up, Sissons Paint, BMW, Mini, the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, Penta, and BPTT.
3 TNT athletes lined up in the 200 meters for men: Emmanuel Callender, Dion Lendor, and Lalon Gordon. Coming home first was Callender in 20.89 seconds. Lendor was second in 21.27 and Gordon fourth in 21.43.
This was my first 200 for the year, so I'm not really accustomed to the 200. So I came out here just to get a workout in because my coach wanted me to get a little something before leading up to Olympics.
Ladies 200 and only 3 athletes in the field, including TNT's Seymour Hackett and Rhea Thomas. Hackett won in 23.65. Thomas was second in 24.25.
I'm satisfied with the race. We didn't have much competition, but I'm satisfied going out there and running this weather and still running a proper executed race.
I think I executed my race good. I think my home straight could have been much stronger, but it's just a working process going into the Olympic Games.
Ladies 4x1, the TNT alternate team of Kai Selvon, Michelle Lee Ahi, Rhea Thomas, and Sparkle McKnight carrying the baton, and they had no problems taking it around the track. TNT not disappointing, winning in 44.70 seconds, beating into second at the team from Wales. And the men's 4x4, Trinidad and Tobago represented by Marshall Cedeno, who ran the first leg, handing over to Ade Allen Fort. He completed the second leg and handed over to J. Hugh Gordon. Heading into the final leg, it was a bit of a battle for Jaron Solomon of TNT, who had some competition and some work to do against the African combined team. But Solomon was able to take TNT home first in a time of 3 minutes 07.11 seconds. Africa combined was second. That wrapped up the track meet on Wednesday. Tomorrow night, we head into the IBA Olympic Boxing Camp in Cardiff, and we see a workout from TNT's Carlos Suarez, and he also gives us an update on his preparations. Reporting for CNC3 from Cardiff, Wales, I'm Roger Sant.
BPTT's Going for Gold was brought to you in part by Ginseng Up, Sissons Paint, BMW, Mini, the Ministry of Sport and Youth Affairs, Penta, and BPTT.
It's gonna be a great day. Got my ginseng up, hey. Let's focus, people. Come on and get it sorted. Get more out of your day. Get things done efficiently. Let's go with it. Come on and just drink it, people. Drink it up now. Drink it up now. Ginseng up now. Ginseng up now. Oh, enjoy the new look and same great taste today. Ginseng Up, the roots of all power.
The Ministry of Sport, your partner in winning, in taking athletes to their highest height, young and old, elite and amateur. We carve the way to make sports your livelihood, your escape, your dream. The Ministry of Sport, touching lives, enhancing living, and creating choices.
Now, welcome back. Just before the break, we were discussing the fact that moving into the modern era of the Olympic Games, so much has changed. TNT and many other countries have official designers. We even have an official song. Brian, just tell me a bit about what does this say for Olympism and the Olympic movement?
Well, it goes back actually to the beginning, 776 before BC, in antiquity, when the Olympic Games was about the blending of mind, body, will, and spirit, art, culture, education, and sport. So that all that's really happening is that in the social media era that is now the Olympic Games and the evolution of mankind, it's sort of further embracing some of the things, the cultural and other elements, the artistic elements that used to be a key part of the Olympic Games and the quadrennial festival that is the Olympic Games. So that's what's happening. It's a tremendous development because that's what the young generation and the modern generation want, the incorporation. Some of the countries have some of the biggest designers in the world, Giorgio Armani for Italy, Stella McCartney for Great Britain and so forth. So it's a tremendous development.
Beautiful. Now, the TTOC also launched its official Olympic magazine today. It's a limited edition publication, and of course, it marks Trinidad and Tobago's competition and history at the Olympic Games. A very marvelous publication at that. I'd like to thank Brian Lewis for joining me this morning, and of course, all of our other guests, Hema Ramkissoon and our backroom staff here at CNT3. The Olympic Games are upon us. I'd like to encourage you to really and truly spare thought and follow it as closely as possible. On behalf of everyone here at CNT3, I'd like to thank you once more. Do have an enjoyable weekend, and of course, do enjoy the Olympic Games of 2012.